Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a really fascinating ancient tale. It's got everything rivalry, some pretty wild claims, and miracles you just wouldn't expect.
That's right.
And we're going to unpack it for you. This story centers on, well, an encounter between two friends who had totally opposing spiritual views.
Yeah.
It's a tale of, elaborate deceptions, but also, ultimately, a huge transformation. It really makes you think about belief itself.
Precisely. And the source material is this compelling narrative from ancient Buddhist texts. It focuses on a specific incident in a place called Savatthi.
Okay.
It involves Sirigutta, who was a very devoted lay follower of Samana Gautama, that's the Buddha, and his friend Garahadinna. Now, Garahadinna followed the Nigantha tradition.
Ah, the Nigantha. They were a rival group back then, weren't they? Known for being quite strict.
Exactly. Very strict, and they made these big claims about omniscience. This story digs right into that clash over omniscience and the surprising results that come from belief and doubt.
So our mission today is to really get inside this incredible story. We want to look at the surprising twists, the clever traps both sides set,
Oh, yeah.
and the powerful insights people gained. It kind of shows how even conflict can lead somewhere profound, right?
It really does.
Okay, so let's dive into this ancient rivalry. Our story kicks off with these two friends, Sirigutta and Garahadinna. Sirigutta, follower of the Buddha. Garahadinna, follower of the Niganthas.
And Garahadinna's masters, the Niganthas, were really putting the pressure on him, constantly.
Pressure how?
They wanted him to convince Sirigutta to stop visiting the Buddha, and, crucially, to start giving donations and support to their order instead.
Ah, so follow the money, basically. Garahadinna was under real pressure then. Was he subtle about it, or...?
Oh, no, not subtle at all. It was relentless. The text says he'd approach Sirigutta constantly, wherever he found him.
Wow.
Always with the same line, basically. What are you going to gain visiting Samana Gautama? Come to my masters and give donations to them.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't let it go.
That would get old fast. How did Sirigutta handle that constant badgering? Did he just ignore it for a while?
He did, yeah. For many days, he just kept quiet. But, eventually, anyone would get tired of that.
Sure.
So he finally challenged him. He asked Garahadinna straight up, okay, what do your masters actually know?
Good question. And Garahadinna's response was, pretty bold, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
What was the claim?
Oh, completely over the top. He said, and this is pretty much a direct quote, "There's nothing my masters don't know. They know everything, past, future, present. Every action, thought, word. They know what will happen, what won't happen, everything possible, everything impossible."
Wow. Absolute knowledge, nothing left out.
Nothing. An audacious claim, no doubt.
So Sirigutta hears this. Extraordinary claim. What's his immediate play? Does he call him out?
No, his reaction is actually brilliant in a deceptive way. He pretends to be amazed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he says something like, "Oh, my friend, why didn't you tell me this sooner? Now I understand how powerful their knowledge is."
He lays it on thick.
Totally. And then, the clincher, he invites the Niganthas for a meal the very next day.
Okay, so he invites them over, but obviously not because he's suddenly converted. This is where the trap comes in, right? I heard it was quite something.
Yeah.
And pretty messy.
Messy is an understatement. It was elaborate and, frankly, pretty dark. He digs this long pit between two houses
Okay.
and fills it with, well, the texts call it fecal sludge.
Oh, wow. Okay, grim.
Grim indeed. Then he sets up posts on either side, ties ropes between them. The back legs of the chairs go on these ropes, the front legs on solid ground.
Ah, so they're balanced precariously.
Exactly. Designed to tip backwards.
Yeah,
Then he covers the whole pit with carpets. Hidden.
very clever. But wait, there was more, right? Something with pots.
Yes. He gets these large pots, washes them, covers the tops with banana leaves and cloth so they look full.
But they're empty.
Completely empty. But he smears the outside with this mix of rice, gruel, rice, oil, sugar, flour. Makes it look like they're overflowing with food. It's a total illusion.
So the scene is set, 500 Niganthas show up. They must be thinking, great, we got him.
Absolutely overjoyed. They're probably already counting the donations, thinking Sirigutta has finally seen the light.
So the trap's ready. The Niganthas are walking in. What's going through Sirigatta's mind? Is he having second thoughts?
Doesn't seem like it. The text suggests he's mentally challenging them right as they arrive. Thinking something like, okay, if you really know everything, you won't come in. If you don't know and you walk in, well, you're going into the pit.
He's testing their omniscience claim right there.
Right. Then he tells his men, wait till they try to sit, then pull the carpets.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets the Niganthas all lined up by their seats, Tells them to sit down all at once.
Maximum chaos.
Exactly. They sit, the back legs slip off the ropes, and bam, head first into the sludge pit.
Ah, the humiliation. What happened when they tried to get out?
That's when Sirigutta's men step in with sticks,
Hmm.
beating them, apparently shouting, "Why didn't you know this was coming? Where's your knowledge of past, future, present, now?"
Adding insult to injury. Literally.
And it gets worse. He apparently made the path out slippery too, so they'd fall again and got beaten again as they tried to escape. They finally fled, crying out, "We are ruined by you."
What a scene. Utter chaos and humiliation. So naturally, Garahadinna must have been absolutely livid. His pure master is treated like that. What's his next move?
He doesn't waste a second. He storms off to the king.
To the king.
Demands justice.
Right.
Specifically, he wants Sirigutta fined 1,000 kahapanas, a huge sum.
Right. So the king summons Sirigutta. How does Sirigutta play it in front of royalty? Does he panic?
Not at all. He's quite calm. He just asks the king, "Before you judge, could we please investigate what actually happened?"
Smart move.
Very. Then he lays out the whole story for the king. Garahadinna's nonstop pestering, the Niganthas' ridiculous claims about knowing everything, and then, yeah, the trap he said. He owns up to it.
Okay, he tells the whole truth, and the king's reaction, I heard it wasn't quite what Garahadinna expected.
Not even close. The king listens, then turns to Garahadinna and asks, "Is this true? Did you say your masters knew everything?"
And Garahadinna admits it.
He has to, yeah. He confirms it. And then the king delivers the verdict. He says to Garahadinna, "You went around believing in teachers who didn't even know this much was going to happen to them, and you said such things to a follower of the Tathagata."
The Tathagata, that's a title for the Buddha, right?
Yes, it means thus gone one, or one who has thus come. It's a respectful title. So the king continues, "That fine you wanted for Sirigutta, you are going to pay it."
Wow. The king fined Garahadinna instead. The irony is just perfect.
It's incredible, isn't it? Garahadinna pays the very fine he demanded. And then, the final blow, his own teachers, the Niganthas, get beaten up and thrown out of his house too. Talk about consequences for false claims.
So after all that drama, the pit, the king, the fine things must have been pretty frosty between the two friends.
Oh yeah, extremely frosty. Garahadinna apparently refused to even speak to Sirigutta for about half a month.
Can't blame him, really. How did they patch things up after such a huge public falling out?
Well, it was Sirigutta who made the first move. He approached Garahadinna gently.
What did he say?
Something along the lines of, "Look, friends argue sometimes. Things happen. But our friendship should still stand." He kind of smoothed it over.
And Garahadinna accepted that.
Seems so. They resumed their companionship, became friends again.
Okay, so they're friends again. Now, this is where Sirigutta kind of flips the script, isn't it? But maybe more genuinely this time.
Exactly. Now Sirigutta starts asking Garahadinna the question.
The same question Garahadinna asked him.
Pretty much. What will you gain from following the Niganthas? Why don't you come visit my teacher? Why not give donations to my masters?
He turns it right back around on him. So Garahadinna, maybe worn down, maybe curious after everything, he finally asks about the Buddha's knowledge.
He does. Prompted by Sirigutta's persistence, he asks what the Buddha knows.
And Sirigutta's response. Does he make the same kind of wild claim Garahadinna did?
No, but he's firm. He says something like, "Don't speak lightly of it. There's nothing my teacher doesn't know. He knows everything past, present, future."
Okay, sounds similar so far.
But he also discerns the minds of beings in 16 different ways. It's a claim of deep insight, maybe more nuanced than just everything.
16 ways of knowing minds.
Interesting. So, Garahadinna hears this. What does he do? Is he convinced? Or is he maybe plotting revenge?
That's the question, isn't it? He immediately invites the Buddha and 500 monks for a meal the next day.
Uh-oh. Here we go again.
Yeah.
So Sirigutta must tell the Buddha about this invitation, right? Does he warn him?
He does. Sirigutta goes straight to the Buddha, tells him Garahadinna invited him. And credit to Sirigutta, he's totally upfront.
How so?
He tells the Buddha exactly what he did to the Niganthas, the pit, the whole thing. And he admits, I honestly don't know what Garahadinna is planning this time. He suspects something, but he's not sure.
And the Buddha, with his insight, does he know? Oh yes, the Buddha, using his divine insight, sees it all immediately. He sees Garahadinna is planning another trap. And this one, it's far, far more dangerous. More dangerous? How? What did Garahadinna cook up this time? It wasn't sludge again, was it? No, much worse. This was deadly serious. Garahadinna had dug another huge pit between the houses.
Okay.
But this time he filled it with 80 cartloads of thorny acacia wood. He set it on fire and let it burn all night until it was a massive pit of red-hot charcoal.
Oh, a charcoal pit. That's lethal.
Absolutely lethal. Then, like before, he covered it. Wooden planks, matting, plastered it over with cow dung to hide it. And he laid down weak sticks across it as a path.
Designed to break.
Exactly. Expected the Buddha and the monks to just plunge into the burning coals. He also did the empty pots trick again and rigged the seating. It was Sirigutta's trap, but scaled up to be truly murderous.
That's horrific, just pure evil. But the Buddha knew this was waiting.
He knew every detail.
And he knew what would happen when he stepped on that path.
Yes. He foresaw it perfectly. He knew that the moment he stepped onto the covered pit, the matting would just vanish. Vanish. And the burning coals wouldn't burn him. Instead, they would miraculously transform into huge lotuses, like wheel-sized lotuses.
Lotuses from a pit of fire.
Exactly. Giant lotuses. And he foresaw that he would walk across on the centers, the pericarps of these lotuses, reach the other side, and sit down calmly on the prepared seat. And all 500 monks would follow him, unharmed.
That's incredible, but he foresaw even more than that, didn't he?
He did. He saw that a huge crowd would gather for this, that he would give a discourse, a teaching, and that at the end of it, 84,000 beings would attain Dhamma, a profound level of understanding.
84,000.
And the final twist. He foresaw that both Sirigutta and Garahadinna would attain stream entry, Sotapanna, the first stage of enlightenment.
Garahadinna too, after planning to kill him.
Garahadinna too. And that both friends would then dedicate all their wealth to the Buddha's dispensation, his teachings, and community.
Knowing all of that, the trap, the miracle, the mass enlightenment, the friend's transformation.
Knowing all of it, the Buddha calmly accepted Garahadinna's invitation.
So the next day arrives. A huge crowd gathers, as the Buddha foresaw. People must have been buzzing, right? Some hoping for a disaster, others maybe for a miracle.
Absolutely. The anticipation must have been immense. You'd have skeptics eager to see the Buddha fail, followers hoping for proof of his power, and probably many just curious.
And then the Buddha arrives with his 500 monks. Garahadinna greets them. Is he still thinking his plan will work?
Apparently so. Mentally, he's issuing the same challenge as Sirigutta did. If you know everything, don't come in. If you come in, you fall into the charcoal pit.
He hasn't learned a thing yet.
Not yet. He even tells the Buddha, you enter first, alone. Probably still thinking he can test him, or maybe just wanting to see the leader fall first.
Okay, this is the moment. The Buddha steps onto the covered pit. What happens?
Just as he foresaw. The instant his foot touches the path, the matting disappears, the whole covering vanishes. And from the depths of that red-hot charcoal pit bloom these enormous, wheel-sized lotuses.
Wow. Wow. The crowd must have been silent.
Or erupted. It must have been an absolutely breathtaking, unbelievable sight, fire turning into flowers, and the Buddha just serenely walks across on the centers of these miraculous lotuses, reaches the other side, sits down on the special seat prepared for him.
Effortlessly. And the monks.
All 500 monks follow him, walking across the lotuses just as he did. They all take their seats, completely safe. The deadly trap becomes this beautiful, miraculous pathway.
Garahadinna must have been losing his mind. Seeing his murder plot turn into this, what did he do?
Sheer terror. He realized his plan hadn't just failed, it had backfired spectacularly, revealing the Buddha's power. He apparently ran, panicked, straight to Sirigutta.
And confessed everything.
Yep. He admitted the whole thing, the charcoal pit, the deadly intent. And then, almost comically, he adds, and the food pots, they're all empty. Like, that's the biggest problem now.
Priorities, right. So Sirigutta, who already pulled the empty pot trick himself, what does he say?
Sirigutta, calm as ever, just tells him, go check the pots.
Don't tell me.
Exactly. At that precise moment, Garahadinna checks. The pots miraculously fill up, overflowing with rice gruel, savory food, ghee, sweets, everything needed for a feast.
Just like Sirigutta had pretended his pots were.
Precisely. The illusion Sirigutta created before becomes reality now through the Buddha's presence or power.
Garahadinna sees the lotuses, sees the pots fill. What does this finally do to him?
It breaks through. Overwhelming joy, the text says. His mind is completely purified by witnessing these undeniable miracles back to back. The hatred, the scheming, it just washes away. And from that moment, he serves the Buddha and the Sangha, the monastic community, with total reverence and devotion, a complete turnaround. So after everyone is eaten from this miraculously provided feast, the Buddha gives a teaching, a discourse, using 2 specific stanzas.
What was the core message?
He explained that most beings, because they lack the eye of wisdom, they just don't see or understand the true virtues of his enlightened disciples, or the value of his teachings, his dispensation. He calls them antha, blind.
Blind without wisdom?
Exactly. Whereas those who are wise, they possess true sight. They can see reality clearly.
And he used that powerful analogy, the one about the lotus, right? Could you remind us of that?
Yes, it's very famous. He said, just as on a heap of rubbish, the Pali word is sakurathana, literally a garbage dump. Cast away on the highway, a lotus grows, fragrant and delightful.
Okay.
So among the garbage-like blind worldly people, Puthujana is the term there, meaning ordinary folks full of defilements. The disciple of the perfectly enlightened one shines forth with wisdom.
That's such a striking image, a beautiful lotus from a rubbish heap. What's the deeper meaning there? How does that relate to Garahadinna and Sirigutta even?
The deeper meaning is really hopeful, actually. It's saying that just like that pure, beautiful lotus can arise untainted from the filthiest place, so too can a noble disciple, someone seeking enlightenment, emerge from the rubbish heap of ordinary, unenlightened society. Even if you're born among people lacking wisdom, surrounded by greed and confusion.
When you still blossom.
Yes. Through developing wisdom, you can see the danger in just chasing pleasures. You can see the benefit in renunciation, in virtue, concentration, and insight. And by cultivating these qualities, you develop liberation, freedom from suffering. An enlightened disciple, the text calls them Kusavo Bhikkhu, a monk whose defilements are gone, they truly surpass and shine forth, distinct from the blind multitude.
So wisdom allows you to rise above the garbage, and the effect of this teaching right after those miracles, it was huge, wasn't it?
Immediate and massive. The texts say that at the end of that discourse, 84,000 beings in the crowd attained Dhamma, a huge wave of understanding.
Incredible. And what about our two friends, Garahadinna and Sirigutta?
Both of them, right there, attained stream entry, Sotapanna, that first irreversible stage of enlightenment. Their conflict, their schemes, ultimately led them both to that point. And they were so transformed, so grateful, they dedicated all their wealth to supporting the Buddha and his community. It's interesting, after the Buddha left and went back to his monastery, the monks were all talking about it. Wow, did you see that? Lotuses coming out of a charcoal pit, just buzzing about the miracle.
Naturally.
And the Buddha overheard them. He came over and basically said, this isn't actually that unusual for me.
Really? He'd done the lotus from fire thing before.
Apparently so. He explained it had even happened in his previous lives when he was a bodhisattva, someone on the path to becoming a Buddha. He referenced another story, an older Janka tale called the Kadagara Jataka, which apparently details a similar fiery miracle. So for him, it was extraordinary, but not unprecedented.
Wow. So this whole story we've unpacked, it's just an incredible arc, isn't it? It starts with this petty jealousy, these elaborate, nasty tricks.
Real nastiness, yeah.
And ends with these mind-blowing miracles, mass awakening, and profound spiritual transformation for the main players. It covers such a huge range.
It really does. And I think what's particularly fascinating is Garahadinna's journey. He starts as this, zealous, completely misguided follower, maybe even malicious.
Definitely malicious with the charcoal pit.
Right. But through direct, undeniable experience, seeing the miracles, hearing the teaching, his entire worldview, his understanding, his dedication, it just flips 180 degrees.
Yeah.
Really speaks to how encountering genuine wisdom, genuine power can just shatter your preconceptions. His transformation makes you wonder, doesn't it? What hidden potentials might be lying dormant, even under our own strongest biases, or, dare I say, our worst intentions.
That's a powerful point. It's that experience that cuts through, isn't it? The fake omniscience led to humiliation, but the real insight, demonstrated through the Buddha's actions and teachings, led to transformation. It shows that true knowledge, unlike empty claims, reveals itself in ways that can just blow all expectations out of the water. So, thinking about this for you listening, what does it all mean? Maybe it's a reminder that sometimes the most profound aha moments, the real breakthroughs, can come from the most unlikely places. Even from conflict, from situations that seem messy or negative. It makes you ask, maybe, what garbage heaps in your own life, what difficult situations or ingrained beliefs might actually hold the potential to bloom into something beautiful, something insightful, if you approach them with a different kind of awareness.